Whether you're free to play or whether you're pay to win, the first anniversary has something for everybody because it will be finally delivering us that oh so valuable SSR Selector Ticket. It's an incredibly valuable resource, so here's how to, and more importantly, how to not spend it. So for those that don't know what this ticket is, this is going to allow you to pick up any card up to the Admire Vega and 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧 banner. So pretty valuable, and they are going to be coming from two sources. You're going to get one paid one that is going to drop with the second campaign of the anniversary, and then the one which most people are going to be interested in because it's free to play friendly is the one that drops with the third campaign, and you'll be able to get that by completing all the missions. Now, just like in my 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧 Selector video, I'm going to go into the criteria so you can make your own decisions for yourself on how you would like to spend this, but it's a bit simpler and a bit more complicated. It's more complicated because you generally need 5 copies of a card to MLB it compared to 𝗥𝗚𝗚's where you only need 1 copy and then you can just run the 𝗥𝗚𝗚. However, we don't have to worry about parenting with cards or anything like that, so we just want to get the card outright. So with that in mind, there's only 2 criteria I'm really going to be looking at today. The most important for me, and I believe for you, is longevity, because you want a card which you can just use for as long as possible. That's where you're going to get the most value for your resources. And then secondly, after that, how useful is it in Trackblazer? Because sometimes the cards, Trackblazer is a really weird one where it's like very racing heavy, and so it's going to have a slightly different card meta to the scenarios which are coming after it. And one more thing before we get into talking about the cards, you generally don't want to be 0 LBing a card with this, and by that I mean just getting a card just to have it. You generally want to be using these to either take cards to free LB or ideally MLBing them. If you're going to pull on cards, hold off on using it. Also, we have just got access to the limit break crystal, so that is something else to consider. Though the limit break crystal is stronger than the selector ticket because it can be used on future SSR cards. So make sure you're using your selectors before your crystals on these cards. And the first card type we're going to talk about today is speed, and we'll just move through them very quickly. 3 options that you have: 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧 Black. Although she's not going to be great in Trackblazer because of her 5% race bonus, after that she is going to go back to being a god card. She's going to be really strong in later scenarios. So in terms of longevity, she still does win the recommendation here out of all the speed cards. I still think that she is the best, even if she's not going to be the best card in Trackblazer because, again, of that 5% race bonus. But if you want a card that is going to be good in Trackblazer, 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧 Speed is probably a very good option for you because of her initial 30 to all stats. It's going to help you win those early races, and that's very important for Trackblazer. She also comes with 10% race bonus, and she is going to be usable in the next scenario as well. So, very strong card. Just again, make sure that you're not, like taking her from like 1 to 2. You ideally want this card of like 3 LB or higher. The final card, which is somewhat recommended but less so than the others, is 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧 because she is just a very strong stat stick. However, her chain event sucks. It doesn't give you any friendship with her. Her gold skill is, it's not good. It's not good. So, and she doesn't really scale into future scenarios very well. The 2 cards on the horizon that really everybody should be thinking about speed wise are Summer Maruzensky and Agnes Tachyon, even more so than Nerissa Top Road because those are just going to be good cards going forward. And speed cards I don't recommend. Bakushin's speed, she's just a weaker Biko. Mayano, she's got 5 race bonus, which is not really that great. Sweep Tosho, she's got 0 initial friendship bonus, again, not that great. And then Suzuka speed, just kind of a weak stat stick overall. So for speed cards, those would be my recommendations. As far as stamina goes, there's probably no surprise to you that there's only one card I'm going to recommend, and that is Super Creek, because she is just the goat of stamina cards. Swinging Maestro is an absolutely busted recovery skill, and as time goes on, she is going to get better. Her main weakness in scenario so far is just that energy has been kind of limited, but the new scenarios are going to solve that problem for her, and she is going to scale very well into them. So I wouldn't, if you want to pick up a stamina card, this is going to be the one to do it. I would not consider any other stamina cards. I think that they are all just generally bait. As for power cards, I don't really think there has been a strong enough power card that you would get one over 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧 Black or Super Creek, for example. In terms of statistics, the best we can do right now is Vodka Power, which I don't know, it's not really that great. I wouldn't really recommend you spend it on a power card. There are some stuff like King Halo power gives 𝗥𝗘𝗧 from her event, but you should just generally borrow her if that's where you're wanting to get 𝗥𝗘𝗧 from, because you, again, don't use this to just get a card at 0 LB. It's not worth it. Smart Falcon power, same sort of dealio where it gives give you groundwork, which is really, 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 really nice. We love to get groundwork for free, and you know, her gold skill, you can take print positioning from it, so that is quite nice, but just too weak of a stat stick to recommend. And Rice Shower, some people may be thinking, what about her? She does give Swinging Maestro, that is very good, but she's going to fall off after the Unity Cup because she just doesn't have Scenario Link anymore, so she's just a bit too weak. If you want Swinging Maestro, Super Creek is the card that you should be aiming for. This is an interesting one to talk about because everybody has access to 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧, which is the best SSR Guts card in the game currently. We're also going to be getting a super rare Admire Vega Guts card, which is going to be very, very easy for people to pick up because we will be getting free pulls on her. So we've just had 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧, who has 10% race bonus, so it's going to be pretty easy for people to build a Guts deck. So if you are looking for cards to sort of round that out, the best one is probably going to be 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧 because she has 15% race bonus. That's going to be very good in Trackblazer, but sadly she doesn't really get much used after this. And then I'd also briefly like to mention Ines Fujin. She does have 5% race bonus, which isn't good, but if you look at the rest of her stats, she is pretty crazy, and for front runners, she does give you Restless, so that is a nice way to pick up that skill. I'd maybe consider her slightly better than Mayano, but she is held back by that 5% race bonus, and generally I think that because people have access to so many like free to play friendly Guts cards, I don't know if it's really worth investing the resource into this specific card type. And now we come to Wit, which I think is probably going to be where most people are going to see the most value here. There's a couple big ones to talk about. So first and foremost, Fine Motion. She does have a banner that's going to be shortly after this video releases, and she is going to have another one much later in the year. We know that her longevity is going to be pretty good. She's not going to get power crept until Mijiro Romano comes out. So very good to spend your ticket on her. She has 10% race bonus, 15% training effect. So just basically a perfect card, and you're going to be able to use her very easily in the next two scenarios to slot her into your deck. The next card we need to talk about, Nice Nature. 15% race bonus at MLB is absolutely wonderful. She is going to be S tier in Trackblazer, and she will be alright afterwards. She is going to get knocked out of the meta by Mijiro Romano, but also, if you're like a really heavy spender, there are going to be cards like 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧 or Mr. CB if you're like an end closer player. Those are going to be quite powerful, and they might take a slot in your deck instead. Cards I don't really recommend are Karin-chan. I do like using Karin-chan. She's the third best card in the game, and do you really want to be getting the third best? No, you want to be getting the best, right? And like on a similar sort of idea, I don't think you should be spending this on cards like Sane Skywit because she's just, yeah, it's nice to get speed bonus on your Wit card, but crappy gold skill, crappy stat stick. 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧's kind of got the same issue where she's just so bad at giving you stats that although her gold skill is really great and is going to be hard to get after Unity Cup, that's kind of the thing. It's going to be hard to get after Unity Cup. You're not going to have to worry about people having no stopping me. It's going to be a nice advantage if you have it, but I don't want to give up like 400 wit because I took 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧 instead of Nice Nature. Like, and I'm not being hyperbolic. She is just really not very good of a stat stick. And then just to get the final card category out of the way, do I recommend you spend this on any PAL card? No. Tazuna Hikawa, 0% race bonus, has already been power crept by Riko Kashimoto, and Riko Kashimoto is going to get power crept in the next scenario by Light Hello. So just don't spend it on a PAL card. It's really, if you don't have these cards already, it's frustrating, but that's just the way it's going to be. Riko will be alright in Trackblazer, but like I said, she just dies after it. Don't spend the resource on a PAL card because you will not be getting your worth out of it. And yeah, so that is every card type talked about. This is going to be a hard one for a lot of people. I know it will be probably a lot more difficult than just picking an 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗧 if you are going to spend money on the ticket. Just be wary of this one. If you are going to be pulling on cards, and we are going to be getting a lot of free pulls with the anniversary. Just hold off, because you might pull something that will change your plans. Like recently for me, I was at 0 Nice Nature, I now pulled another copy. What I could do, for example, this might work for you as well, is I would MLB my Fine Motion by pulling on her banner, and then I could buy a selector because I'm planning on it, get the free to play selector, and then I've got a Nice Nature at 3LB. Pretty happy with that. That's 10% race bonus with her, and that's going to feel pretty good. And that saves my selector crystal for something more important in the future, like a Summer Marazinski, for example. Just be considerate of what you want to pull, because the Fine Motion banner is right before 𝗥𝗘𝗧 Black the 𝗥𝗘𝗚𝗥, which can be very meta for front runners. Very, very, very meta for front runners. And then right into the Narita Top Road Admire Vega banner. You will be getting free pulls on that, but just that is quite a valuable banner to pull on if you do want to, though, as I've already said, Narita Top Road dies after Trackblazer. All I say is I'm trying to grow my channel right now. Any engagement you can throw my way really helps. I love seeing people discuss in the comments. People really seem to like helping each other out, and just, I understand it. It's fun to talk about Uma Musume, right? And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye now.